It's good to have you back on Newsday. Winners have emerged in the just concluded state finals of the robotics competition between schools in Lagos State. It is an event organized and coordinated by the Lagos State Ministry of Education Department of Science and Technology. Commissioner for Education, Folashade Adefisayo, highlighted the importance of the competition and gave trophies and accolades to the champions.
It was quite exciting. We went into the room to see them demonstrating. And it was interesting to see how every robot was different. They designed it differently. Some added aesthetics, flashing lights and so on. Some trained the robot to pick 4 items, some 2 items. I mean, I thought it was remarkable.
We are not preparing our students for competition. We are preparing our students to fit into the global market. So beyond the competition, we are looking at students that will be relevant in the 22nd, 23rd, and so on centuries to come. So it's sustainable. Lagos State government has been providing the fund up to this moment, and I believe they will continue to provide the fund, but we want collaborators. We want private participation so that it can grow bigger and better.
I've seen some other people programming and robots. I've learned some things from their programming and from their robots in case I can correct my own robots.
And joining us to discuss the application of robotic technology in the present era is robotic educator and engineer Christian Chime. Good to have you join us on the program.
Nice to be here.
Yes, it's good. So let's start with what we've just seen with regards to the robotics commissioner speaking regarding the competition that just recently took place for 2021. What are your thoughts? What's your take regarding where we are here in Nigeria in terms of robotics generally?
Yeah, I'm really glad that the Lagos State government is putting a lot of effort into robotics education. It is really important because this is something that it's already in the curriculum in schools across the world. So to get kids at this age to get involved in learning about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics through robotics, they get to see the practical applications of things they learn in the classroom, and then they get to, when they get older, they can easily solve problems, using this knowledge.
Indeed, Christian. Now, the field of robotics is still generally at its infancy here in Nigeria. We've seen some private schools encourage pupils on that subject, and some have even been given international, they go out to international competitions. We've seen all of that. But beyond that, what are the prospects in terms of daily application, not just on domestic, but industrial skills for robotic, applications, as it were?
Yeah, so I would just like to give an example of the just concluded competition. It's actually a model of a real-life problem. Okay. So they were solving a problem in the energy sector. As people gravitate towards using natural energy, we realize that, for example, solar energy is not available 24 hours in the day. So if you use solar during the day, you might want to use wind energy or use hydroelectric energy at night. So the students had to come up with a robot that could solve that problem by mixing the different energy from the sun, wind, and solar, and then providing an efficient power supply to houses and companies. So it is right now at the model stage. So they're solving a model of a real-world problem, and this is to encourage them to be more confident about solving real-world problems when they're much older.
All right, so let's get your take regarding robotics here in Nigeria as in comparison to the rest of West Africa. How do we measure up?
Yeah, we do quite well. For example, the competitions that you go for, we were able to represent Nigeria in various competitions across the world. And then you get to those competitions, and then usually Nigeria is the leading country in those competitions.
Sorry to cut in there. It's just that I wanted to get more clarity as opposed to the competitions, because the way you're talking about it is like that's the only thing we do. So I'm saying away from competitions, what are we actually doing in the industry, in the actual field?
In the actual field. So it's still at its infancy in the actual field. At the moment, we are still at the automation phase. We are looking, but in sectors such as Internet of Things, IoT, and then home automation have started to open up, in the real estate and industry, for example. And then also in the entertainment sector, for your cameras, for drones, and then for capturing events and things like that. Applications of AI have started to move into those industry. But for the manufacturing industry, yes, there's still a bit of a lag there, but we hope that this will open up, and that's what we're trying to encourage.
Indeed, Christian. Now, there are Nigerian investors, or rather inventors, who have come out with gadgets, whether in the field of electronics and robotics, but most times that is where it ends. You find shows like this, and we don't hear about them at the end of the day. So how can individual inventions be given patents, the rights to, mass produce, specific functions of these gadgets, as it were, and, for what they're designed to do, because it just ends at the initial stage, but we don't hear anything about them afterwards.
There needs to be a kind of awareness, and then people need to encourage local inventors, because at this stage, some people still prefer importing gadgets that are already mass-produced, from countries like China and the rest. So there needs to be some kind of involvement of government and also the private sector. Things like grants for inventors to keep on researching, because I know a lot of inventors that work on superb products. The prototype is very good and polished, but to scale it up and to mass produce is where there is this problem. And then you see these inventors, they have their invention, but they still have a 9-to-5 job. So they need a kind of support. There needs to be this probably grants, and then also soft loans for inventors like that, to encourage them to stay in the field, and then to also encourage them to scale this, patent their products, and then push it out there to the Nigerian markets.
So apart from grants, is there any other way that we can encourage, local inventors? Because from what you said, it seems like that's the only option available. So I'm thinking, are there any other, if any one of them is watching at the moment, are there any other options available? And also, is the government the only party that is responsible for supplying grants and financial assistance, or can they look elsewhere as well?
Yeah, they can look elsewhere. There are a lot of companies abroad that are looking to sponsor innovation and creativity, and then mostly what happens is when they see a bright talent here in the country, they want to export that talent and have it as their own, So the private sector is also responsible. They can also pitch in as well, and then try to make those products available for Nigeria, and then those products by Nigerians available for Nigerians as well.
Indeed, we've been speaking with Christian Chime, a robotics education consultant. It's good to have you on Newsday. Many thanks for your perspective on that field.